Hello, welcome, everybody. And there he is, my friend. I
Good.
can't hear you yet.
You can't hear me?
Not yet, not yet. Hold on. Hold on. I got myself on two screens. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me yet?
I can.
Ah,
I
good.
can now.
How are you?
I'm great, my brother. Thank you for joining.
Hey, thank you for inviting me on, man. It's an absolute pleasure.
It was quite spontaneous.
That's always good, man, especially in these ever-changing times.
Definitely, definitely. So, my brother, I need to kick this off by congratulating you on your 13K followers on Instagram. Oh
Thank
my
you. Thank
goodness.
you. Yeah, it's amazing.
How,
I'm shocked.
now, how does that feel?
It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I mean, I never expected to be in this position, so I'm just humbled.
Well, okay. So, I gotta know. How did this all start for you? Because you are quite popular, you know. By the way, I love everything about your Instagram. I like the logo. Did you design that yourself?
I did, yeah. I did everything.
That's awesome.
So I guess it started. My passion with this subject has been, it's been years, decades, in fact. But I guess I wanted an outlet to start putting out all the information that I came across. I've always been sort of one to not just watch a documentary and stuff and then leave it at that. I wanted to always dig into it. So
Yeah.
and then I was always coming across so much information, so I built up quite an archive. But I just wanted an outlet. So I thought Instagram was the choice, and it was more for me just to revert back to every now and again, and people just started following, man, and here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now let's do a proper introduction. Please tell me something about you, where you live, what you do, um, what are your how did your fascination start? Was it as a kid? Okay, so those were like three questions, but try
Yeah,
to.
no. Well, I'm Vinnie. Like Max has said, I'm Vinnie. I run Disclosure Team. I'm 43. I live in Sheffield, in the north of England. As far as the passion, I think I always say it stems back to when I was about 5 years old, and my parents took me to see E.T., the extraterrestrial, at the cinema, 1982.
Awesome.
And I think something just embedded itself in my mind back then, with this subject and aliens and stuff, and it just stuck ever since. So I think that's probably where it stems right back to.
Wow, wow, wow. And so it was E.T. that caught your eye the first time, or?
Yeah, it was. I just remember it so vividly. I remember, and my parents tell me this all the time. They always remind me that I cried at the end of the film because
We all did.
he went home. No.
I still remember the part that he got like all ashy and stuff.
Yeah, and I always remember the bits where the government take everyone into those white tents, and it's all really like crazy, and it just sticks with me, man. So
Yeah. Right now, I would just give him some body cream, and that all the ashiness would be gone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. So what made you decide to make a proper effort to create a community for your disclosure team?
I think after a while, realizing that people were starting to pay attention, I really sort of told myself, look, if you're going to do this, make sure you do it 100%. Just go full force, be thorough. The worst thing I'd ever want to do is put out any bad information and stuff like that. So I thought, this is it. I'm at a time in my life where I'm lucky to have a little bit of time to focus on the subject, and that was it, really. I went, let's go for it. Let's do it,
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's quite impressive. Um, so, how are you being perceived by your environment or the people in England? Because if you're into a subject like this, you tend to be, you're going to be getting a little bit of abuse usually.
As far as it goes in this country, I don't even know if people in this country are even aware of me. I mean, there's so little talked about on this subject here. We're so behind, in the government and just in in popular culture almost, social media and stuff. So I think most of the people that I interact with most of the time are from like the US, South America, other European countries. So the British side is kind of almost irrelevant. On your point to the abuse, that comes from all over.
Yeah, that's true.
That's part of the job.
Yeah. So let me close this door. I can hear my son.
No problem.
Oh, hold on.
I know what that's like with kids, man.
Yeah. My wife is trying to play games with him in another room, but he's excited. he got some new presents.
Nice.
Yeah. So about England. So there's no coverage in the media at all, or hardly.
Yeah, we get the kind of the real. How do I say it? I was going to swear then, but some of the gutter press.
You can swear.
Yeah, I'll carry on with gutter press. So that some of these really poor newspapers like the Daily Star and the Sun, they seem to be quicker to jump onto some of these stories, especially recently, than others. But I don't think it's a good thing. They don't write the articles very clearly and decisively. It's all a bit mishmash. And then the big respectable press just don't really seem to touch on it, really. I mean, all we really want is the BBC to get involved, and I think that would just help take it to a more acceptable level over here. So
what happened in Great Britain when in 2017 the Pentagon released those images?
I mean, it was reported on. I think it was probably a few days to even a week after it happened. It just appeared in a fair few newspapers and media outlets, but it's like a lot of things over here. It's there one day and it's just gone the next. You know.
Same here.
It's not good, but hey, what can we do?
Yeah. Well, I think it was UFO Jane who gave some attention to these new photos that were that showed up about the Rendlesham Forest thing. And there's one really captivating one, and I just can't believe that's real, man. It's like with the beam in the forest. It's awesome. What do you think about that?
Well, I came across them about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and of course, instantly I was like, "Wow, this is awesome."
It was a poacher.
Yeah, John the Poacher, I think his name was.
Yeah. It's like a fairy tale, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, once the initial shock faded, I started to think about it. And I just thought, why would he wait so long if he had these photos? And too many things were just going around in my head, questioning it. And then I saw on Twitter, and I'm really sorry, I can't remember the guy's name. He pretty much debunked them. He found repeating patterns in the tree bark.
Was it Mick West again?
No, it wasn't Mick West. No, it wasn't. Surprised it wasn't Mick West. No, but yeah, so we found all these repeating patterns in the tree bark, and that, so it was very clearly manipulated imagery. So I took away from that it's got to be a hoax, really.
Yeah,
I mean, I can never say 100%, but it just seemed that way, just from the detail, the zooming in of the patterns and that. It does. I know patterns happen in nature, but come on.
Yeah, and he must have had a hell of a camera at that time.
Well, this is the thing. That's yeah.
You know, it caught a lot of light. It is kind of your biggest event on UFO stuff in Britain, the Rendlesham Forest thing. Yeah. So when did you first get notice of that? When it first caught your eye?
Rendlesham only really came on my radar through being into sort of watching UFO based documentaries, you know, probably in the 2000s, early 2000s, you know, back in the media, even back in the 80s, and I wouldn't have seen it anyway, but it took them 3 years for it even to be reported in the press. So, you know, it was just crazy how it's just not looked at. But obviously it is such a huge case, and I've done quite a bit of looking into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got no any further than most people have got by looking into it, but yeah, it just remains just one of the best cases globally, in my opinion.
So, Vinny,
Yeah.
the wheels thing in 2016. Tell me about that, because that sounds like an event to me.
Yeah, so it was this military exercise that just so happened to occur at like 3-4 a.m. out of nowhere over a pretty busy residential area of Wales. Lots of complaints from people that they could hear these helicopters. A lot of witnesses saying they just kept seeing these helicopters repeating patterns around their houses.
Right.
It's very strange, a lot of very strange things. And then you've got the two major witnesses that were stood on this field, edge of this field, just sky watching.
Yeah.
And basically, to cut a long story short, they see this giant pyramid shaped craft come right down into the field, point down, all lights around it. I think there were some orb like objects as well. Just shocking, a shocking case. And I think some of the research that has been done into it by other people since then, the FOIA requests have always come back with, we cannot give out any information on this, which I find bizarre, because if it was such a straightforward training exercise, then I think more would have been said just from the Ministry of Defense.
It's weird. It's weird they don't want to extend any information. Usually they say, oh, it was just a training exercise or whatever, but they don't want to say anything.
And I think in the days afterwards, I think people were spotted in kind of strange hazmat suits, like searching the area.
Right.
And apparently people were seeing piles of metal just placed around, like they've cleared anything metal that's been found, old bicycle frames, shopping carts and that. Any metals just piled up as if they were looking for a specific piece of metal. And there's talk of a lot of the military helicopters and that shooting at this object or an object. So the possibility of a crash retrieval is embedded in this story as well. So there are so many aspects to it that are just awesome.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Well, yeah, we had a couple of cases in my country. And actually one of our biggest cases was, I think, just a year before Rendlesham.
Okay.
And do you remember, or was there any account of what shape it was at Rendlesham's? Was it a triangle or an orb?
I think I've seen a few various descriptions over the years, but I think the majority have always come down to a triangular shaped craft,
right,
with a little bit of a turret on top. Possibly, I've heard a lot, not just a flat triangle, but a lot smaller than a lot of other reports that we've had over the years. Something that's probably only about 9 feet across is what I've seen a lot of. So definitely not your average 40-foot aircraft type size triangle, or certainly any of the big black triangles that we've heard about. So
so the most accounts on my side of the North Sea, also triangles. There was a big event in Belgium and Holland actually in the early 90s. You know about that. It was supposed to be a whole armada, and they showed up for, I think, for days and days in a row.
So intriguing.
And this Belgian Air Force I think he was the big boss, the biggest officer. He got pretty much ridiculed because he was saying stuff in the media. His name is Wilfried de Brouwer. I tried to find him, but I can't find him.
I saw an interview with him recently. I mean, an old interview, but it was, he's such a credible guy.
Yeah. But they really committed a character murder on this guy. So it was bad. Kind of sad.
Very sad.
Yeah, so the Dutch accounts, I've been the ambassador for the Soesterberg case, but there's more, because at the same base in the early 90s, two military men saw it again, right?
The triangle.
Yeah.
Was that over the military base?
Same base.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that as well.
Yeah. And is there something in the UK which is not that known you could tell me about? Because I'm curious.
I'd say There are other smaller cases. What I will mention is I get this an awful lot, is people asking about the crop circle phenomenon, which is
Okay.
slightly outside of my realm of study, but obviously it was huge in the 90s. And that's for some reason where the public really did have an interest, because they did believe it was UFOs or aliens coming down to leave us messages. And I still to this day get so many people asking me about it.
It was a couple of drunk farmers, right?
Well, you know, that's the thing. Like I say, I haven't looked into it, so I wouldn't like to say either way if it was what it was exactly. You know, people always say that there are a percentage of them are hoaxes, a percentage are unexplained, just due to the timescales that, you know, they appeared so quickly.
Yeah,
It's a funny one. But yeah, there are a lot of other cases in the UK. I mean, I'm not very good on the top of my head sometimes, so the names just aren't there right now. But
yeah.
certainly nothing. Go on, sorry.
Sorry, let's just address the elephant in the room. Were there nukes in the Rendlesham area, or in maybe some other parts?
From what I believe, yes. And I think that information came out after the initial stories were released, and I think in about 83. And I think it's now been pretty much concluded that there were nuclear storage facilities on one of the two bases, Woodbridge, right, or the other one. I don't know which one. I think it was probably on the American side, but then again, it could have been the British.
There are so many similarities to the Dutch story, because you know, Soesterberg was a shared base with the Americans.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was and a nuclear storage base, was it?
Officially, there haven't been nukes at all to this day. But I can tell you this, there were many people demonstrating in the 80s, and they were like, ban the bomb, and it was right there. So everybody knows. And I think it was early this year that I think one of the biggest Dutch newspapers actually showcased the proof there were nuclear weapons there. And
wow.
And there are still nuclear weapons in the Netherlands. Not ours, it's American.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah. So this is a thing that's still going on, you know, it's still here.
I mean, I'm surprised that I think that pretty much is in the UK as well. And I would have thought over the years you would have heard probably even more UAP cases around these military bases, but you just don't. It's strange.
So is there the same pattern in Britain, in the UK, that they tend to show up on military sites or nuclear sites?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the Rendlesham case, you know, that seems to be what happened. But there are so many military bases scattered all across England, especially. I'm sure the whole of the UK, but I'm familiar with it with England. You know, you drive past them all the time. It's such a small country, really. So there's always talk of nuclear storages across the breadth of the country. I don't know how much of that's true. A lot of the time it's just hearsay, but you've got to think there's some scattered around. I don't know.
Yeah, you're quite reserved.
I am, because and I always say this to my followers, I don't offer many opinions on things because I'm still waiting for so much data on a lot of things. And I hit a lot of brick walls with cases, and I'm not one for speculation. I think it's damaging if you go too far, because your speculation can easily be turned into people thinking that you're talking factually. And yeah,
and it's easy to go down that rabbit hole, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. So I try and remain neutral. Some might say sitting on the fence, but you know, it might be a bad thing to some people. But I've got to be non-biased, you know.
Look, you're a guy who has an awesome platform, and I don't think you're a journalist, are you?
No, I've never been a journalist or anything. It's all new to me.
You don't have to investigate. You just report whatever is solid.
Yeah, that's it. I'll answer questions. If people ask me direct questions, I will offer an opinion or a take on what they're saying. But yeah, I'll never say anything's factual. And I let people make their own mind up. That's what I do. All the information I put out there, it's for them to make their minds up. You know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And have you researched some of the witness accounts of, say, maybe Pentrick.
Oh, the Wales case. I've started looking into it. I've not spoken to any witnesses. I mean, obviously, there's a popular video that came out a few weeks ago covering the incident. I think that's how it came onto a lot of people's radars, this 30-minute mini documentary that featured the witnesses and the story. I've been looking into it quite a lot since watching that video, and I've come across quite a lot of other interviews with the witnesses. So I have been taking a lot of notes, going down a lot of avenues of what they've been saying, looking into things on the government side, on the government websites about military training exercises, just trying to tie a few loose ends up and see what's happening. I think I'm going to continue to look into the case. I'm slightly reserved at the minute because of everything that's happening this week and possibly next week. So
what are you excited about this week?
Well, Jeremy Corbell just put that tweet and post out about, what, an hour and a half ago. Did you see it?
No. What did he say?
It says, it says, wonder what's next. Curious what's next with the UFO topic. I got a feeling you're all about to find out. I suspect we will end this week with a splash.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's my buddy Jeremy. You know, he likes to be a bit cryptic.
I don't mind it. It just
this guy always delivers, so I'm excited.
Well, that's the thing, man. And as soon as I reposted his Instagram post straight away, I had so many people in my DMs. What is it? What is it? I don't know. I don't know. You know, so it's exciting, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for Louis Elizondo. 60 Minutes. That's a big ass platform.
It is. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I've even got friends. I've even got a few people in America saying they're willing to host a watch party for me because it'll be like 3 a.m. when it airs UK time. I'm tempted to stay up. I'm tempted.
Oh, well, it's like the Super Bowl of UFO, man.
That's it, man. You know. So, but then obviously you've got your interview with Mr. Elizondo coming up soon, haven't you? That's awesome, man.
I do. I might have one more surprise. I really want to tell, but it's not confirmed. But there is a date. There is a date. Man.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
You can DM me later.
No, I can like send it to you on the DM on Insta, and you can check it out, and we'll do this live and see how you react to it.
You know what's going to happen now? People are going to be pestering me. Tell us the secret. Tell us the secret.
Yeah.
I'm good at keeping secrets. Well, actually, that sounds ominous when you say that. What's people going to think I'm hiding? Jesus.
I send it to you.
Nice. Shall I look at it now or shall I wait?
Yeah, look at it. Look at it.
Oh my gosh. Dude. Sweating. Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming. Did not see that one coming.
I couldn't believe it myself that I managed to do that.
Oh, man.
So, but there is a date, and it's really soon. And but I just need formal confirmation. That's it.
Hey, of course. And as soon as you get it and it is confirmed, I will blast it all over my Instagram in the time leading up to it because people need to know. Wow. Yeah. I'm gobsmacked, Max. That's crazy.
I don't know how I did that.
Mate, you've built up this respect. You know, you've done some incredible interviews. Your name's out there now, so it's all in your quality of work, my friend.
Well, that's a big compliment, but I just do what I enjoy and what I think is important.
It is. It's vital. I know it's much appreciated. I tell you.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. I do notice a paradigm shift.
Definitely.
Yeah, people are really starting to catch on to this. Yeah. I see the Dutch people are the most critic people, or how do you call this? Criticism-full people.
Yeah.
Or sober people you can have on this planet. And I work for this National Dutch weekly magazine, which is basically kind of a rebellious magazine. Their audience is usually male, like football, fighting.
Okay, yeah.
And their their education is like quite high, because there's also a lot of science stuff, but it's really
I can see. I know what angle you're coming at. Definitely, I think we've got similar publications in the UK as well.
Right. So, like, no newspaper in Holland, no magazine in Holland was willing to really dive into the UAP subject. But my editor-in-chief, and I'm gonna give him a big shout out, Danny Cox, and I know how his name sounds in British.
Hey man,
yeah, he could. It could be a really good name for another occupation, but
yeah.
But Danny Cox, he was the editor-in-chief, and he gave me the green light, and he said, like, okay, you can publish about this, and we went all out. He gave me like a big platform.
Nice.
And guess what happened? When we published like 2 UAP full editions of UAP, that's when the biggest newspaper in Holland immediately after that started covering the
wow.
Yeah, and they haven't stopped.
Did they reach out to you at all, any of the bigger media outlets, or?
Not at all.
That's a shame in a way.
Hurts.
Yeah, I know, man. They should be like,
No, I don't care. What prevails is, of course, the topic. And I'm so happy.
Of course, yeah.
I'm really happy about that. So, this is a cool one. Dankjewel, Wilfred. He says, I'm Dutch. Okay, it is in English, so I don't.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Sorry, I was trying not to read the comments in the chat. I think my brother's even in here somewhere watching. So shout out to my brother.
Who's your brother?
I haven't got the chat up. Let me find the chat. Oh, where is it? I'm not used to using YouTube when I'm. His name's Jono Adams.
Jono Adams. Oh yeah, I found him.
There he is.
That's
my brother. There he is.
Yeah.
He knows the score with this stuff. He's probably been the only person that I've ever been able to really talk to this about for many years, because friends and family just don't want to know. My brother, I'm lucky that he's there to let me just talk about UAP.
You have a cool brother.
Yeah, we're identical twins.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So there's another you.
There is, man.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
that's
awesome. Good.
I always wanted an identical twin, so I could tell him how handsome he is.
Nice, mate. Nice. You're probably more likely to just end up fighting.
Well, I do have. I actually have 9 siblings. So
wow. Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah. My father was a busy dude. And
nice.
the Rolling Stone. So, Erwin, Music Man, Nieuwe Revue. So, yeah. So your brother, you can talk to him about this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, but to finish my story, it was they started really covering it now since a couple of weeks. But the funny thing is, they're not talking to anyone. They just research whatever is available online.
Right.
But I know for a fact, because I've been approaching everyone.
Yeah.
I'm the one approaching, actually talking to people. So
that's so strange. You'd think they'd at least reach out to people for comments, if anything, just to.
I guess they're still hesitant.
Yeah. I can kind of understand, but they don't want to jump on it too late. I think that's what a lot of these media companies.
Look, this is a very fast-moving train at the moment, and they
need to just play a little bit of catch-up, I think, and start paying a bit more attention.
Definitely. Okay. And have you ever considered covering the subject, or maybe writing about it in the UK? Or
I've been recently. It's a thing it's just started thinking about. Maybe I should start branching out a bit. I'm very comfortable doing what I'm doing with Instagram and things like that, but I think there comes a time where everything evolves, and I think I need to evolve in this subject. And so writing articles is something that I'm definitely looking to possibly do. Even a YouTube project similar to something you're doing is in my mind. I'm a little bit hesitant because I don't just want to be another channel and compete with anyone else. I'm not there for that. So
well, I can tell you this niche we are in right now, you're probably one of the few, you know.
Thank you, man. I mean, so many ideas. I'm always full of ideas. I want to take things.
My brother, the only thing you have to find is a platform. Like, and it would be great if you can, you know, get a national British platform. But
yeah,
you know, you could start locally, whatever, man.
I think writing articles and just putting them out, or even sending them to publications and seeing if I can get them to start covering this subject, you know.
Yeah,
maybe. And if the articles don't go anywhere, I can put them on a blog or something, you know. So yeah, maybe that's what I'll do.
A blog you can always do, of course.
Yeah. But then we shall see. I've just noticed a comment in the comments. What's Vinnie's Insta?
Oh,
disclosure _team on Instagram. Go and check it out. Shameless plug.
Man, be my guest. You should.
Thanks, Christian. You put it out there. Christian is a regular on my page, man. He's awesome. He's a knowledge base on this subject, absolute knowledge base. It's always good to have Christian in the lives and stuff.
Hi, Christian.
Very knowledgeable dude. Vinnie and Max, thank you for talking about the phenomenon on YouTube. I know it's awesome. This is my first time, well, second time if you count the big phone home, but didn't really get a chance to talk that night, which it's not a problem. It was a great event. So yeah, I'm glad to be on here with Max. As my kind of first proper chat. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm honored.
Hey, the honor's all mine.
So, but you know, about the big phone home, I did see you there, but you know, there were so many people. You know,
it was moving so quickly, and it was originally set up with times for people to go on, and of course, that just with the conversations that were flowing, things like that just sort of fall behind, and you just let go with the flow, and that's what happened, and it was incredible. And then you had people jumping in that weren't even originally meant to be on. Jebby Church, Richard Dolan, so of course,
yeah, it was awesome.
I
really fell in love with Luis Jimenez.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a character, isn't he? He's what this subject needed. He's been doing so much work behind the scenes, even since the big phone home as well. He's awesome.
No, that kid really, you know, he did something special, and you know, I think he really pioneered for all of us.
Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah, so I think he's going to be a familiar face for quite a long time in this area.
Oh, I really hope so. You know, I love them all. I love Christina.
Yes,
Gomez. I love Jazz Shaw. I think he's awesome.
Oh, Jazz. Yeah, love him.
Yeah, you know, what I love about Jazz, actually, he's just, he can be anyone else but himself. He's just in his home, drinking his James Bond martini.
That's it. Yeah. Love it. That's so great. He's just
pisses his wife off. She screams at him live. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's we need people like that in this subject, man. Like, you know, he's just a character as well, but with such a knowledge base, such interesting views on the subject as well.
Great journalist.
Very good. And that's the thing. He's just can't say a bad word against the guy.
But what I find funny is, like, you know, for some reason, the stars are aligned just right at the moment. And, you know, right now we're making new friends, you know, I meet so many really special and cool people, you know, and I'm so excited about that. You know,
it is exactly how you just said it, man, and it's all happening while we're getting this build up of what's coming. You know, everything.
Oh, I see my buddy Sean, Witness Citizen, is here.
Nice.
I'm gonna bring him in.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I've not spoken to him. I think we've just recently followed each other on Twitter. And
hey, guys.
How's it going, Sean?
Good. How are you?
Very well, my friend. Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. No, it doesn't work like that, friend.
Awesome song, by the way, my man. Awesome song I saw you put out on Twitter.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Really loved it. Really great.
Yeah, it was one of those songs that like I remember thinking back, listening to a Roy Orbison interview about how he wrote one of his songs, and he said, my best songs, my most successful ones, take like 30 minutes, and it just comes out, and that's
Wow.
it, and that's what this was, and it was just came and left. I didn't have any questions about it,
Yeah.
and just did it, and afterwards when I put other like songs in my creative stuff on my channel and stuff, but there's so much out there that it's hard for people to latch onto it. So when I put that out there, and I didn't really have expectations. I don't have expectations anymore. I just, do what I do, and what happens, happens. And Lou heard it. So, and that's awesome. And he liked it. And that,
tell us about that, dude. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he heard it, and he posted a comment.
Nice.
Saying, here, I don't want to misquote him because
Don't you dare.
It's too it's too special for me to misquote. Okay. Sean, my family and I are profoundly appreciative of this touching gesture. Please know this will remain one of my personal treasures. What makes this better is this personal treasure can be shared with everyone. Thank you, and God bless you.
Oh, you cried a lot after that.
I did not.
You did. And
no, I didn't. I swear. I felt more. I felt more elated. Like, just like this is my third hobby where you don't really make any money. So music, chess, this, and so what my rewards are, what the best rewards are for people if they realize it or not is, pretty much everything not related to money.
But that must have felt good.
Right. So what I'm saying is like that's how I get paid.
That's nice. That's really good, man.
That felt really nice. So it was awesome. And it all started with my talk with you, Max. I was down in the dumps that day earlier. Okay. I wrote the song. I was down in the dumps. Then we talked. We didn't really talk about anything that would get me out of the dumps. We just connected, and it got me out of whatever funk I was in. And then it just took off from there. And it's been
you have to imagine this was like 1 day, 2 days ago.
Right. 2 days ago. And what you said to me that stuck with me still is every time you put energy out there, it's going to come back to you. Right. It might not be tomorrow. It might be 10 years from now, but it's going to come back. And I felt
this one came right back at you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like showing off. So thanks for bringing me on, though. What are you guys chatting about? What's the topic of the day?
We were just exchanging stories about the British events and the Dutch events and the situation right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just talk about me. So.
Yeah. But we're gonna talk about you some more.
Okay.
Because I do think we had a great conversation, and it was very deep at some levels, about consciousness, and I'm wondering what Vinnie thinks about that.
Because really, sorry, don't let me cut you off. Carry on.
No. Basically, I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you've seen what me and Sean were talking about, but basically the context was that we both have a sort of a feel or an instinct that consciousness might be very relevant to what we're experiencing right now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's funny because it's something that's been creeping more into my my thoughts a lot in the recent few weeks, and I'm going to be speaking to the guy Tyler over at Contact Tour. I've actually set up to do an interview with him in a week or two, because I want to start exploring that angle of this subject, because I'm from a very nuts and bolts, science-based, logical thinking kind of area, and I think I need to just broaden my views a little bit more, because I think that it is going to become more relevant. I really do. And a lot more people are talking about that and bringing it into the conversation. I don't want to be left behind, so I want to be kind of up to speed on that area,
Yeah, when you listen to, for example, what Mr. Elizondo explains when he sees these vehicles move around in the air and how they seem to manipulate gravity, but then maneuver at will. And what I talked to Sean about this, but I also talked to Jeremy about that, and I think even Alessandro. It was like, I very oftenly have the flying dream.
Yes. Right? Oh my God, yeah.
Do you still have them?
Right? So, you walk to the window, you stand on the edge, you just fall over and just let yourself get carried away.
Yeah.
But then move at will, in any speed at will. You go where you want to go. There's no timeline. And to me, whenever I saw those vehicles move around, especially the Puerto Rican one, it's like, it's almost like a flying dream. It's like it's like you think it and you do it.
Yeah,
that's what it looks to me. And this is why we touch down on consciousness, because this is something that I keep hearing. This is something that's coming back a lot.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said, I need to know more, man. So
I think as far as the consciousness aspect and like wanting to know more and learning more, I mean, I have a feeling it's one of those things that you ask for and you receive, if you just make an effort and make the first step, I feel like what needs to come to you will come to you, but you have to trust that it will.
Yeah.
Because if you start not trusting, then it definitely won't. It's kind of like the law of attraction, I guess, if you start thinking that I can never do it, it's not going to happen for me. Well, guess what? That's what you're getting.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
It is accurate. So
I am a solid believer in the law of attraction. Solid.
Yeah.
For me, it works. Yeah.
Yeah. And really, it's not something you have to think about. It's just a mindset, half glass half full,
Definitely.
And
can you guys
easier said than done, but
can you guys talk for a little bit, because I have to piss?
No, of course, man.
We gotta have like a petition to get people to stop telling us what they're doing when they leave. Because every time I watch one of these, it's I gotta pee, I gotta take a shit. I'm like, oh, come on. You're ruining the mystery.
Sorry about that.
You should say, I got a call in the office. I got to go. All
right,
go. Yeah. It's like, it hurts. Yeah. So tell me about yourself. Are you in the Netherlands, or where are you located?
No, I'm in England.
England. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm in the UK, north of England. So.
Gotcha. How did you meet Max?
We just connected through social medias, I suppose. My main platform being Instagram, and Max is there, and I think we've both seen each other's names flying around a lot recently. And I've been starting to doing quite a few live chats on my Instagram, just going live with followers. And Max happened to jump in, and I got him on the live chat. So we had our first face-to-face chat, and we've just been chatting back and forth since then, man. And
Yeah, it's nice to find somebody you can talk to effortlessly.
Definitely, man. And it just seems that everyone in this community is just connecting, and I love it. And I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing, like, you can get swept away in it, and you should, but I also at least have to remember that human traits and characteristics follow people everywhere. Yeah, whether it's work or here or family, so that still exists, that human dynamic. But I feel like the people that are around here are a lot more willing to work on stuff like that.
Sure.
I feel like that may be the difference, but that's just my opinion.
No, it makes perfect sense, my friend. Definitely.
Yeah. Have you had an experience? Have you seen a thingamajig? No,
I haven't, man. Everybody always seems so surprised when I say that, like they think it's why I got into the topic. But no, I have never seen anything.
So may I ask what got you into the topic?
Just a passion, something I've always been into for years and years, even when I was younger. Before I'd sort of researched or looked into it, obviously I saw the documentaries and things like that, and then I found myself just wanting more. Yeah. So that's when I would see a documentary, then like dig deeper into the rabbit hole, you know.
This can't be. Yeah, let me just keep going.
You know? I just needed it to absorb a hell of a lot more information, and there, and here we are. I do.
Is it like this for you? Like it's the deeper I go, the more facets sides to this that there are.
Yeah, I mean,
it almost gets more complicated.
It is 100%. You hit the nail on the head. I have way more questions than I did 6 months ago, a year ago, so on, you know. But I see it as a good thing. I don't need them all answering right now. I'm happy with the way things are going. I don't want to force anything. I'm just gonna ride with it.
That's key.
You know,
that's key, isn't it? Forcing stuff, like in life.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Start forcing stuff, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, or it ain't gonna work how you want it to.
Yeah, it won't go very smoothly. Oh, we were just talking about you.
Oh, God damn it!
You want to hear a funny story?
Tell me.
I was at the drugstore just a little bit ago, getting like a bottle of water or whatever, and I hear the workers like talking like, I think that guy in the aisle is going to steal something. So anyways, I get my stuff, I'm leaving, and right at the door, if I just turn my head left, my eyes were right on the guy in the aisle, right? And my wife is in retail, and she just complains about that stuff all the time. So I don't know. Anyways, I was just watching. He takes this big tub of like hair goo or whatever and opens his pants and shoves it in there. And I got my mask on and stuff, and I'm like, hey, I saw that. And then the lady came. I'm like, check his pants. His dick ain't that big.
Oh, my Lord.
And then, then I left.
That's
so that was funny.
So now you're a hero too, dude. Man,
what's that? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's more like I do that stuff because I just find like those parts of life fascinating, like the awkward moments that probably other people may not try out. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people would stay quiet
because it makes you realize how you know, a lot of things you think are difficult or awkward are only such because you think that. You know,
true,
very true.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean,
that's a funny story.
Sean, did you catch on to you did catch on to the 60-minute thing with Mr. Elizondo?
Yeah.
How excited are you for that? What do you think? What's going to happen?
Well, a lot of people think 60 Minutes is which it is mainly like an investigative type show, like full of gotcha moments and and mystery but it's not always like that. And I think if Rubio and Lou Elizondo are on this program, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be used as a medium in a different way.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and I really don't watch enough of it to, you know, say for certain what to expect, I suppose. But I do remember Twitter being asked by, I think it was either him or Sean, what programs UFO Twitter would like to see him on. Because at that time, there was a lot of conservative broadcast covering it. And like people were like kind of complaining or rumbling somewhere, but everyone is generally trying to stay positive. I guess.
But look,
I put 60 Minutes in those comments. And I think one other person did too. And now they're here doing 60 Minutes. Yeah.
Right.
That's cool. Yeah.
But you know what? I do commend Fox. You know, look, politically, I'm not involved in America or whatever, but I know Fox has a right-wing connotation, right, in your country. Mm-hmm. But they, especially Tucker, and you know, whatever you think about him, this guy has the balls to cover the shit, you know? So and you know, he's very, very vocal about it. So you got to commend him or Fox News for doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, as long as there's no weird intent behind it, you know, I'm glad that it's out there. And
I feel he's sincerely curious.
Yeah, I think he is, because he's been touching on it for a while now. I think at least since 2017, right? So, but yeah, It's like people have their own perceptions, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So people will watch that no matter what you say, and they'll go, what? They'll just hate Tucker Carlson, whatever. People always forget that they are unique to themselves as an individual and are not defined by party, race, sex, or gender.
Yeah, there's a lot of identity politics going on, especially in America. And I find that some things I come across on the internet are just ridiculous to me. But you know, that's just me. I'm talking about, for example, you know, the pronouns, the gender pronouns.
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord, what the hell is going on? How do you do that? How can you? It's so confusing.
What's that?
Yeah.
All the different what?
The gender pronouns and stuff.
Oh, I don't know. Like whatever someone wants to be called or whatever they want to do, that's cool. Just tell me. And if I hurt your feelings, let me know what it should be.
I think that's the thing as well. I always get so scared of saying the wrong thing.
They're actually,
even if it's accidental.
Tend to be, you know, you can't make blanket statements, but generally speaking, in my experience, they're very understanding.
I got to tell you guys something, and I want to know your opinion on this one. I think it was about 3 years ago. I got to interview Mr. Professor Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you guys...
Right, we talked about that, yeah.
Yeah. I am going to try to get a second interview with him, and I'm going to ask him about this. And I'm so curious what he's going to say about whatever is happening right now. Because to me, he's one of the biggest thinkers of our time.
I wish I could comment on that. I don't know enough about him. But I am going to look him up, because if you say that, that means a lot to me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. But you know,
sorry,
but Mr. Peterson means a lot to me, because he is, to me, a man who touches down on a lot of stuff that is really important to this topic. I think, you know, it's your responsibility as an individual, how you should behave as a good person, as a man or a woman, and you know, he really makes a difference, or a distinction between group dynamics and the toxicity of group dynamics. You know, either right wing or left wing, or it's all about the individual and your responsibilities as an individual to yourself and to your kin, your surrounding, and how you act. And that really speaks to me. And you know, he had a really rough time. He nearly died, actually, and he recovered, thank God. So I'm really eager to speak to him. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull this one off again, because I'm not sure how I did it at the first time. I found a friend of mine, a filmmaker, who turned out to be a friend of Jordan's, and I just stalked the shit out of that guy.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And I think he was in Amsterdam, and just a day before he had his big appearance, I got his phone number and I got him to do like 45 minutes with me on the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. But you know, you should. I'm really excited to hear his opinion on whatever this is.
He'll come at it from a good angle as well, I think. Probably a different angle than a lot of things we see in this subject. And I think it'll be in a very Jordan Peterson way.
Very philosophical.
If I'm going to educate myself on this fellow, what would be a great place to start?
Well, you could buy his book, the first book. He has a second one out right now. But his first book is 12 Rules for Life. And the second one is 12 More Rules for Life.
12 Rules for Life.
Has he been on Rogan at all? On Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I think he talked to Rogan, but it was like we did, with a Zoom or a StreamYard or something.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure, by the way. Maybe I might be talking out of my ass.
That's okay. I was just curious.
Fact check me on that.
You know, that's an interesting topic. People that you really respect and admire now, let's say there's a disclosure, And these people who haven't had opinions towards this previously start having opinions, and they don't align with yours. How does that change your perspective?
I love it. I love critics. I told you about this. I got into it with a dude, a Dutch guy on Twitter.
Right.
And I did fuck up because he called me out. Look, first it was because of the Dutch publication in the magazine I wrote the articles for. And he twittered with my name. It was embarrassing what I wrote. Yeah. So now you just stomped on my ego, and I reacted like a child, and I just I just wanted him to. I said, "Okay, come with arguments, facts. Why this? Why that?" And that was actually a great move because he really didn't have anything. But then I made one mistake, a factual mistake about the Roswell incident, because I said in my article, a saucer. The first news that came out in the local newspaper was that a flying saucer was found, and there were dead alien bodies, which was not true.
Well, that we know
a mistake.
Yeah.
The thing was, it wasn't right then and there.
Yeah.
It came out way later. But and they just jumped on that, But it wasn't that I just pulled that out of my ass. It was just that the timeline wasn't right.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's the thing. I mean, I see it all the time, every day. And you talk about what people will be like with differences of opinion. And like Max says, I'm so open to it. It keeps the conversation going. We can learn from each other.
Look, Vinnie, this is what happened. So I really got into it with this guy, and I sometimes I actually made quite of a fool of myself. I'm so happy. A lot of people can read Dutch. But then again, I did show he didn't have really any argument to say what he said. But I decided to invite him to do a podcast with me, and he obliged. And you know what? He was actually a really nice guy, and he wasn't really so as disqualifying as he was on social media. And we had I think maybe an hour and a half, really cool conversation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I do think, that helped me a lot, because he taught me a lesson, a big lesson, and it is, you can, how do you say this in English? You can allow yourself to get caught up, jump down the rabbit hole and lose some sense with how do you call this? What is solid? And this guy, it was a big reminder. You cannot just go with anything. Especially as a journalist, you really have to go with the facts. What is on the table? What can we say about it? And that helped me out a lot, and it actually helped me too with the way I approach this now. I am someone who's always looking at this as the glass is half full. I do.
Oh, me too. 100%. Always. You have to.
Yeah. But then again, I'm also very open to criticism and bullshit.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, with so many things on the table within this subject, because there's, we put everything on the table. Some things are probably more believable than others, but we have to leave it all there for the time being. So when people, and I don't mean necessarily with me, but I see people arguing in my comments about this being true or that being true, when really we don't know if any of it's true. And I think I'm very conscious of that. And I hope other people start to look at it that way as well, because we're not fighting against each other here. We all want the same thing, so.
Yeah, there's another thing. I don't think critics are the enemy, I think they actually make the case much stronger, because it challenges you to challenge yourself. I need to be more into this. I need to have more facts, and this makes whatever is coming out, and when it's how do you say this? in English, when it turns out, there's enough data, enough proof that it's true.
Yeah,
then it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see all sorts of lessons in there, in that story. One is don't judge people based on a Twitter account, right? Because and Chris was on my show earlier today, and he said something really, really beautiful. He's like, when you're on Twitter and you see something you don't like or whatever, it's remember, people are fighting their own personal battles in the background,
that's
and you have no idea what they're going through. Like for you, for instance, like just as much as you feel bad, that person should have felt bad too, because they didn't know what you were going through, and people are flawed. And if you're going to tell me that you've never had a freak out or a breakdown or whatever, you're lying. You're lying,
Too many.
And on Twitter, it's just so easy to just react on your emotions right away. Like emotional intelligence through Twitter is extremely complicated.
Look, for me at that time, like I put so much effort into this, months and months of research and talking to people and chasing deadlines, and then you finally get to publish this, and there a dude pops up and he just shits.
How do you think like Corbell feels, or Elizondo or whatever? Yeah.
Oh man,
like, after those videos, they probably felt so accomplished, and then that's misinformation or whatever. It's like I think we all need to play more of an observation role than an opinion role.
I actually talked to Jeremy about this, and you made a quite a good distinction. He said, because I said the same thing. I said, critics are good because it makes you sharp and on point. But he said, but there's also just people who just want to see you burn. Which is true. Yeah,
that's a hard lesson to learn. At my old job, I learned that. I went into commercial sales, and I got in there with all these older guys who've been doing it forever, and pretty much just gave up on life. But I come in there with some zest and everything and excitement, and I'm kicking ass. I put up like $1 million in my first year, or whatever. But these people they weren't warming up to me, and it was really aggravating because I was trying to be so humble and kind and helpful, and every part of it they just would reject. And it's like there's just some people who they just want to watch it burn.
Look, Sean, people are
for whatever reason.
Sean, people feel very, very threatened by talent. And it's really confronting for them when they see you accelerate in whatever you are doing over there. It's very confronting to them because it confronts them with their own
inadequacies.
Well, there was excuses for everything. Oh, he's getting these secret leads, or he's getting this good stuff under the table from someone, and all this stuff. It's like, dude, I'm just good.
Plain and simple.
And all it is just caring. You just got to care, man.
But the problem is it can make you doubt yourself, and it takes a lot it takes a lot of wisdom in life to not be receptible for that. Can I tell you a funny story? I'm also a filmmaker. I've been working for Dutch film and television for I'm 42 now. All in all, I think almost 20 years.
Nice.
Well, when I was about 25 years old, I got a job which I bluffed myself into.
I've done that.
And I got to be the item director of a traveling show, a Dutch traveling show.
Nice.
And I got first day on the job. I got to travel to some country, and I was, I couldn't believe it. I get to travel the world and
nice, living the high life.
Yeah. But now I have to pull this stuff off, and and they hire a camera crew for you. They're from some facility or something, And in Holland, we call them video farmers. These are just guys who are used to like just one item after the other. They move quickly, and they're usually older, cranky dudes. And I was like in my, I think, early 20s, maybe 25, and I had to lead these guys. I was the director.
Wow.
And do you think like a dude in his late 40s, early 50s is going to take any shit from you or any or any, direction or anything?
No.
So when I said, okay, so I want a medium close up about this, and we do like a walk like that, and you handheld follow the host like this, and they were like, and they just started directing the presenter, the host, and I was like, what the?
Wow.
Yeah, but now then I got pissed off because I am a hothead, So then I got into fights with these guys. But then I had to be a little bit more creative on how to handle a situation like that. Mm-hmm. When you're overwhelmed, when you feel powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever I felt powerless, I get angry, I violent.
Yeah. Sure.
But what I did was I felt like I need to validate these guys, right? Because they're doing, they're holding the heavy camera, they're holding the heavy boom, and they feel like they should have been the director actually, and not a 25-year-old milk mouth. So whenever I wanted something done for me, I just went up to them and I went, look, Jack, what you just said to me, that medium shot or that walkthrough through the woods like that, I think that's a great idea. I think we should do that. Let's do that. And they would be like, oh, okay. But they didn't say that. I just made that up, and and I acted like they suggested that.
Yeah.
And this is the funny thing about ego. When you say something is a great idea to someone, and he made that up, he's going to want to take the credit for that. And that trick always worked. I just acted like they made up that.
And they just go with it. Yeah, damn right, I made that up. Why didn't you do it sooner?
Yeah, you cannot make that up, you milk mouth.
Hopefully, I should be manager by now, right? These are my ideas. That's hilarious.
But that worked every time, and actually, it still works.
Interesting.
I like it, man. That's an awesome story, man. I guess you had to change how you came across, how you approached them, and that if it wasn't working. I like that, man.
Yeah, it's better than giving up.
That's right? It. Adapt to the situation and own it.
Yeah. There was one cameraman who got onto me. He knew what I was doing, and I was pulling the same shit with him. And he was like, he looked at me and he smiled and he was like, I didn't say that. And then he was like, that's fine. But I did it like 15 times to him before he got on.
That's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I just noticed a comment. My brother, Mystery Wire, just confirmed an upcoming data dump.
Yeah, tomorrow. I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the same thing that Corbell's been tweeting about then?
Good question.
That might be a good.
I would assume.
Interesting. I like to be jumping on this information the minute it comes out. Thanks, John, for that.
It'll be coming out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's
awesome. And I slept talk and said May 14th a couple weeks ago. So, whatever.
That's no way.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
I don't understand it, but yeah.
Nice.
But that happens randomly.
Oh, this is cool. Look. Avi from India.
Nice.
What's
up, Avi?
Man. That's cool, man. Well, that's Avi. That's the name of my people. Shalom, shalom.
My great grandma was from Portugal. She was Jewish there in like 1917.
I didn't want to say it, but you do. I didn't want to say it, Sean, but you do have Jew face.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Does this guy? Oh, just kidding. I'm a mix, man. I'm a mutt. German, Eastern European, English.
Yeah.
Jewish, Portuguese.
Have you ever done one of those ethnic DNA tests?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy with it though, because my father is supposed to be 50% Portuguese, and I did mine, and I didn't have any.
That's strange.
You always should do like at least 2, because sometimes their database is not sufficient on some
right
countries or cultures, or
But aren't these big legitimate companies that perform these for you though, that are supposed to have these big databases that are able to give you really spot on answers?
My Heritage is really good, and
My Heritage,
Ancestry.
That's the one I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually it gets boring because I don't have any, like, they're all like fourth cousins or distant cousins that they show you, and you're like, okay, am I going to talk to all these people? It's never ending.
I got crazy shit.
Yeah, I didn't get anything like that really.
On my dad's side, I'm for like 50% Colombian, African Colombian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
And on my mom's side, I'm Native American.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a lot of Jew, but I know that.
Yeah. So,
that's crazy. I need to do one of these tests, man.
Yeah, I mean, then you start going down the rabbit hole of who these people are and finding records and stuff.
I had a lot of questions. I went to my grandmother. I said, "Why am I Black Jewish?" What is my name?
I found out doing that my great grandpa who came over here, he came over with Antonio, and he was Antonio, she was Antonia, and their whole time here, the kids, everything thought they were married. Well, guess what I found out? They were brother and sister.
Whoa.
And they never kissed or showed affection. And they never understood that. His wife, he left in Portugal. That was the Jewish girls. So he had my grandma out of wedlock with her. And then he left there. He tried to bring her over here once, but it was really difficult for her to manage like the different lifestyle.
All right.
I guess. Yeah. But yeah, they didn't, even my dad didn't know that, but I got the birth certificates and the parents and all that stuff. Like, holy crap.
That's crazy.
He came over here as a foreign journalist during the revolution in Portugal, and I have the passport and everything in the newspaper, and he was in some correspondence list in Portugal, but I can't find an article or anything about from, so I don't know.
So this is something Christian just brought up. I already read it. Ezra Klein wrote an article in the New York Times. Did you guys catch on to that?
I posted it earlier on today. It was a great piece. I mean, it was an opinion piece, and I think the New York Times need to now jump in a little bit further, do some digging. Don't just write an opinion piece. Show the people that you actually care by doing a bit of work.
Right. Good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Anyone can throw an opinion out there.
Yeah, it just shows a little bit more, because they've done some great work in the past, you know, of course, 2017.
I didn't think it was a bad opinion, though.
No, it wasn't so much that it was a bad opinion, but they made it very clear from the start of the article that it was an opinion piece. And whenever I hear that, you know, I separate it from some of the, you know, articles and things that are written by other journalists where you know that they've gone and done some research. Do you know what I mean? And it just shows sometimes, but it wasn't a bad piece. So, you know, I'm not being...
The news here is all opinion pieces.
Right.
They don't even pretend to tell the news as it is anymore. Like CNN and Fox.
Yeah, it's all identity politics over there, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
For instance, like we have this stuff going on all over in the world. Like the stuff's breaking out with Israel and Palestine or Hamas. And like I want to see what's going on, and they're talking about some bull crap Trump fundraising thing, and the other channels talking about some racist stuff, and it's like, what? It's like, what are you doing? There's real stuff happening, you know, and you're just blinding everybody and putting us in these boxes no one wants to be in or belongs in. You know?
Yeah, this is funny. You know, my my brother. He's not my brother, but he is my brother.
Yeah,
Rudy Rockman, and I posted something. I did a podcast with him a couple of months ago, and he's a young Israeli dude who is studying in New York, Columbia, I think, and he's an activist, you know, a peace activist, and you know he tries to create awareness and understanding between people who are either on the Israeli side or on the Palestinian side. Usually they're not even Israeli or not even Palestinian, but they just collide.
yeah.
And what he does is he builds bridges between the actual people. And he had a couple of really interesting things to say when I was talking to him. For example, you know, the politics from both sides are actually very. These are the criminals, you know. It's the leadership. You know what he said is so true. You know, there's this two-state plan. It's crazy that there's a two-state plan. You know, we're both indigenous to that land. You know, we both need to be there with our families and our children.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what is so important to solve this conflict is to stop thinking black and white.
Yeah.
You know, it should be collective. It should be coexistence. And the thing is, it's so crazy. Like the Jewish people and the Arabic people, genetically, we're basically the same. Literally, basically the same. If you look at DNA markers, it's just, you know, and even if you look at it religion-wise, the religions are even almost the same on one or two differences.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
think, but with this situation in particular, I think outside forces and influence really disrupts what any possibilities could be. You know,
Yeah.
And I can only speak for the Hamas side. I mean, obviously they're pretty nasty. They're pretty nasty people. But
you know what? Hamas
is a bully with the land and it does his own pig-headed asshole stuff.
And this is the thing, you know, Hamas is just they're not even as terroristic to the Jewish or the Israeli people. They're terroristic to their own people. They suppress them. You know, that's what they do. You know, it's not the Jews they suppress. It's their own people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Netanyahu, that dude is all about the money. You know, it's the weapons. You know, they make money with the war. You know, it's a fucked up situation.
It's interesting how, like, if the conflict gets bigger and Afghanistan seems to be getting really bad as well right now, and our border, our like immigration went up. I think it was 916% illegal crossings. If all this stuff keeps going along with this phenomenon and stuff, like, what does it mean? You know, like disclosure, all these world events popping up.
But you know what, guys?
You can't let yourself go there, but
if you, you know, but if you look at this, you know, like this whole holy war, say in Israel right now, you know, everybody's jumping in, the Christians, the Muslims, and everybody has an opinion. What if it turns out UAPs are fucking real and there's extraterrestrial life? This shit doesn't matter anymore.
Absolutely, I know.
Religion doesn't matter anymore. You know, it's
us, like, you know.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It will still matter to them, the people that have faith, you know, but they will have to or might have to adjust that faith.
It can coexist, you know.
It can definitely coexist, but it's a big conversation that will need to be had if we get disclosure.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say step by step how you guys think about this, because say after May or June, there's bona fide evidence that there's extraterrestrial life that is visiting us, which means there's outer space cultures, life, intelligent life, and how are we gonna like smooth this into like the Earth population? How, because we are really primitive and violent.
I don't think it'll be that dramatic, because just because there's a confirmation doesn't mean that things and how they act and what's going on now is going to change all that much, even in our understanding of it. So I feel like if anything, what that changes will be just more acceptance of people that work on it and strive to figure out things like this, and maybe they'll get more support and backing from people. But I don't think everyday life will have to change much as long as, like, because things will relatively be the same, you would think, unless like when that happens, all of a sudden, you know, whatever the thing is, it's like, okay, everybody, let's go. They told them, you know. I just see it kind of continuing as it is with this new opportunity to strive for, you know, something greater that more people will be behind finally, you know.
I do think religion is going to be a problem, you know.
Religion has always been a problem.
That's so true. Yeah.
I think after it all dies down and everyone's carrying on with their lives, I think people will start questioning the government about this technology, because if it's confirmed that it is extraterrestrial, that means they're visiting with some capabilities that would benefit us as mankind massively. So questions are going to be asked because of the possibilities that it can, or what it can do.
Yeah,
but that's a very human way of thinking. You know, what can we gain?
I don't mean it in a gaining way, but I mean it.
You're right. You're onto something, though. I mean, you notice how everybody talks about this stuff. It's almost as if they think they can put a harness on this and do what they want with it.
True. You know? Yeah, and if we're told, I just think if there's a possibility that there is some way of letting this technology be freely open to scientists who genuinely want to experiment with it to possibly do some good in the world. It's not what we can benefit from it, because I know if it went in the wrong hands, it could be weaponized and militarized, which obviously would not be a good thing. But if there's a chance that we can eradicate some third world poverties or something, I mean, I'm looking big picture right down the line, but the questions will be asked.
I do think, you know, Vinnie, you know, you do think in a way I like, you know, use it for the good.
Yeah,
but I think about it in a slightly different way, because I think it's about balance. You know, it's we're going to learn about balance in whatever we're in, and energy. You know,
yeah.
And Sean, me and you, we talked about this the last time.
Yeah, we did.
And I had a Kabbalah metaphor about that. You know, so Kabbalah.
Can I tell it? I remember it.
Sure, go ahead.
Basically, it's about the things that you don't see can be holding you up and keeping you alive. Like, you see the tree above the ground, but it's the roots underneath.
Yeah, so Kabbalah has a metaphor. Yeah. He did a great job. But the Kabbalah has a metaphor for the balance in life, which is the tree of life.
Yeah, I'm familiar, yeah.
So, you know, what Sean just said, you know, what is on the ground is the roots you cannot see, but it is keeping up what is above ground, you know, which is balance. And, you know, Sean, I wanted to tell you about this, but of course, you guys both must have seen the film Avatar, right?
Absolutely.
That is legit Kabbalah, what he did over there, because that tree, you know, the tree of life, that is what Kabbalah is. And they just, I don't care if they took it, they really did a great job, actually, you know, with that film.
Because, absolutely.
Because it is exactly what Kabbalah is, you know, everything is energy. Everything is in touch with you know, each other, the soil, the nature, etc. This is what Kabbalah actually is. Look, I'm not an ambassador for Kabbalah. I've just started studying it a little bit.
Right.
But I do think it does touch down on what we are experiencing right now. And this is where I think where people miss the point. You know, whenever you get acquainted with this new form of life, which is coming over here, people tend to think, okay, so there must be some technology we can gain from, and this is actually what the humans did to the blue people. You know, they missed the fucking point. It's about harmony. It's about balance. You know, and this is primitive thinking. What we're still doing, we're missing out on the point. It's about harmony and balance, and we need to be open-minded. And if this is something real, you know, you give into it. You know, let's go with that energy. You know, it's right. About the balance in the life we are given. I think.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. But all I can say is that we need to latch onto it pretty damn quick. Stop these wars and this fighting, and find that balance, find that neutrality, and live better.
But also, this is what Sean and me talked about. Look, if we look at the evolutionary timeline of humankind, you see we are very young.
Yes,
you know, very. It's just been 100 years ago we started flying, driving cars.
Yeah, with
technology, like you could almost say that the last 20, 30 years where technology is just going leaps and bounds and growing, that could be the very infancy of it.
Yeah, for all we know. Very true. Very good point.
This could just be like the rotary phone, you know?
Yeah. It's just crazy. With our generation, I think we're all about the same age. Look, when I'm
19. I'm just kidding.
You have a nice beard for a 19-year-old.
All right, 36.
Okay. Very impressive. Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
You're like an Afghan kid or something.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, it's because of the hat. Yeah. I get sick of, we're in this in-between temperature here where it's like cold a little bit, maybe warm a little bit. So I just get sick of like putting the hat on and off. I just leave it on. Don't do my hair and whatever. It's like my little nib.
To finish my point, basically, we're still talking monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we still have the fur. I do.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And
you got to let loose, baby.
Yeah. And, yeah. They always say, yeah, it's the 70s, but I brought it back.
See, I'm the opposite. This is my full beard.
That's it. It's flesh colored. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh man, you guys are great. I'm gonna go though. I have to go eat dinner and stuff.
Eat dinner and stuff. All right, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, guys, yeah, maybe on that note, it's a great way to, you know,
show our chest hair and leave, huh?
That's it.
Peace. The nice part about these conversations is you're allowed to be wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have any idea and just be who you are, you know. And like my goal at least is to try to be a reflection of what I think we all should be to each other, you know.
That's a great way of looking at it, man. I like that.
And, you know, if we get other people to buy into that, maybe we'll get on your energy tip, Max, or we just, you know, let ourselves go with this, you know, and see what happens. Because if it is law of attraction kind of based, we need more people. We need a bigger magnet.
Definitely.
You know? But.
Well, you know, on that note, you know, Mr. Elizondo, in my first interview with him, he ended with a speech that really spoke to me. You know, he said, you know, he said, you know, he congratulated me, but directly, really everybody who is right now talking about this, reporting about this. You know, congratulations on being an individual and being on the right side of history and. You know, doing something nobody else is willing to do, sticking your neck out. And I will repeat this every time I speak with you guys or whoever is interested. You know, this is really important.
Yes.
And I will on behalf of Louis, say the same thing to you. Congratulations. You are very brave. You are very, one of a kind. Not everybody's doing this. Yeah.
It's nice to hear things like that, man. It just validates, I wish there was more positivity, because I see a lot of negativity towards the subject, and it's fine. People are going to come up at different speeds to the way they deal with this topic, and I understand that, and I'm okay with that. But it is nice to hear the positive side as well, and feel like your work is worth something, So
yeah. So to the both of you, you fucking keep going.
Thanks, man.
And not let go.
You too, man.
Keep doing this.
Never.
Keep doing this. Make a lot of fucking noise. I love you guys.
Love you too, Max.
I love you guys too.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Good to meet you, dude. You guys.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
Good to meet you, Vinnie.
We'll do it all again soon, man. Definitely. Yes. We've got to keep it going. Keep the conversation going.
All right. Same time next week.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a deal.
All right. Ciao, guys.
Till next time.
Till next time. Peace.
Bye.